Hey Cameron, how you going?
G'day, good. Yourself?
I'm very well, thanks. It's so good to see your incredible mushrooms here today.
Thank you.
They look amazing. Now, I was wondering if I could steal one. I'm making a delicious mushroom omelette, and
Fantastic.
I might grab a portobello if you don't mind.
Here's one right here.
Oh, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Cheers. Mushrooms, they are the fun guys and they are the life of the party, they really are. I've just been to Georgia Beattie's farm in Diggers Rest and learned all about how mushrooms are grown. Well, I'm here today in Diggers Rest, Victoria, visiting Georgia Beattie, CEO of Buller Park Farms. And Georgia, this looks incredible. Thank you so much for having me here. Now tell me, how do you grow mushrooms?
Well, Gemma, it all starts at the compost farm. So we've got a compost farm up in Bendigo. The compost comes down after having 7 weeks, going through 3 phases of composting. The last 3 weeks are when we inoculate with spawn the compost. So when it arrives here, it's ready to go. And so we've got a 32-day cycle. So day 14, we'll start seeing mushrooms, and then we have 2 flushes in that time, which is 2 yields basically off the beds.
Right.
And so this farm does 10 tonne a week.
That's so quick.
What I love about working in this industry is that we're creating a super clean and healthy food. You know, we're the biggest organic farm, so at the end of the day, all we're doing is putting water on our compost, and we grow these, fantastic mushrooms. We've been really lucky to work very closely with Hort Innovation on some of the projects that they've had going. There was one we did recently where we were recycling some of our compost, so from the compost here that would then go in to be then used to make food. So that was really successful. That was driven by Hort Innovation. And there was also a peat project, so the little layer of peat that we've got on the beds here, that was also used in a sort of recycled way at some of the farms. So the benefit of working with Hort Innovation, they can set the sort of the hypothesis to whatever the experiment is, and then distribute it amongst the industry so we can all benefit from it. So we've had a fantastic time with some of those projects.
They're so fascinating, mushrooms. Now, what I'm doing today is a mushroom and goat's cheese omelette. This is delicious, served for a weekend breakfast, a lunch, or a quick and easy dinner. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cook off these mushrooms really quickly in a pan with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. So I'll heat that up, and while that's heating, I'm going to slice my mushrooms. They're very easy to cut mushrooms, and they're going to soften down, so just be really rustic with your chopping. Today I'm using a combination of portobello, Swiss brown, and also button mushrooms. All right, so my mushrooms are chopped. They're going straight in this hot pan. Hear that sizzle? That's what I like to hear. And don't worry, you can use plenty. They'll actually reduce down quite a lot. They're like a little sponge. They will absorb that beautiful oil, and in fact, extra virgin olive oil, when you cook with it, it actually increases all the nutrients you're going to absorb. So in that goes, and I'm just going to add some fresh thyme. And this is just going to add a beautiful flavour. Mushrooms and thyme, beautiful combination. You don't need a lot. That goes with any fresh herb. Good things come in small packages, and you don't need much to get a real flavour boost. You should give these mushrooms a go in my mushroom omelette, because the goat cheese, I tell ya, it's creamy, it cuts through that richness of the mushroom, and with all the other ingredients, this makes a really great dish. You can do it in about 5 minutes, very quick and tasty. So my mushrooms have cooked down. Now there's not much room in this pan, Now, when I was at Georgia Beatty's farm, she told me all about the difference between a button mushroom and a portobello. So tell me about the difference between a button mushroom and a portobello.
So Gemma, it's only a matter of time. So this tiny little mushroom here can be a button, teeny, and then in a matter of a day or less, it will turn into this.
No way.
Yeah.
A day.
Absolutely. So it's really just a matter of time and watching them. We're making sure we space out the mushrooms so that they do turn into
There
these
you go.
big, beautiful things.
I never knew that. So Georgia, as a dietitian, I'm constantly recommending mushrooms. Now tell me, what are they classified as?
Well, Gemma, they're actually their own kingdom. So people often think that they're plants. So there's sort of 20 million different mushrooms in the world, and
Right.
so yeah, it's its own kingdom.
Well, Georgia, thank you so much for having me here in your mushroom farm.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come out and learn about what we've been doing. It's a pleasure.
Well, wasn't that interesting? You learn something new every day. Now, these have softened down beautifully. I'm going to take them off the heat. Just put them in a little bowl and they're just going to rest there while we make our omelette. Omelets are a really good high protein meal. We often have them for breakfast, but who says you can't have them for lunch or dinner, right? I reckon they're an any time of day kind of meal. Little pinch of salt in there and some black pepper. And just with a fork, I'll just whisk these and that's it. And then this is going straight in the pan. Make sure that the omelette covers the base and then we'll let that cook. Okay, so my omelette is sort of half solidified. You can see it cooking there really nicely in the pan. So now we're going to get those mushrooms back on there. We'll just place them right in the center. We're also going to add some sauerkraut. I love sauerkraut. And sauerkraut adds a lovely sort of zing, and it's a gut health booster as well. High fiber diet really helps to actually increase the happy hormones in your gut. So you'll have higher levels of serotonin, which makes us feel good. So definitely worth sticking some of that in. We've also got some seeded mustard, just over the top, some goat's cheese. So I'm just going to be really messy and break this down with my hands. Match made in heaven. And then I'm going to add some baby spinach for extra folate and a little bit of iron in there as well, along with the eggs. All right, while we wait for my omelette to just go golden brown and the goat's cheese is starting to soften, I wanted to tell you a little fun fact about these guys. Now, when you put mushrooms in the sun, particularly gills up, so that all of that surface area is facing the sunlight, you get a day's dose of vitamin D in just 15 minutes in the sun. So try that at home. Tan your mushrooms, not your skin. All right, here we go. It's time to flip the omelette. Ooh, it looks good. So just be gentle. You don't want to break it. Just press down gently and that baby spinach will soften up. Gosh, that smells so good. And mushrooms add a real meatiness to this. You can also actually blend mushrooms and use them even as a meat replacement, or even if you're trying to cut down a little bit, you can swap some mushrooms in and add that extra oomph. All right, time to plate up. So just be careful. Don't want to lose any of the mushrooms. And what I might just finish off with is a little bit of watercress on the top, just to be a little bit fancy. And let's not forget, some beautiful sourdough bread. Well, Georgia, I hope you'll be proud of me and enjoy this delicious mushroom omelette as much as I will. And thank you so much for sharing your farm with me and your passion for growing mushrooms to feed Australia.